All right, in this episode, we talk about the ARP Wave and UCL injuries.
And a good 3X diet.
Brent Porcio, Stephen Godani here, the @TopVelocity #PitchingTips show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, @TopVelocity #PitchingTips, #PitchingTips. Ask your question, we answer on the show. If you haven't gotten on Snapchat, been pretty big on Snapchat. We got a complaint last time that we were on our phones too much, so I don't know. Maybe y'all are saying we shouldn't get on Snapchat, or you just don't want us on our phones. I couldn't figure that one out.
I know. I saw that.
I was like,
he's like, you douche farts.
We're called us douche farts for being on our phones too much.
I don't care. Look at the age we're living in, man. Everybody's on their phones.
Sorry, we're on our phones because you're asking questions, and we're just trying to get to them in response. We got to use this. But if you'd like us to go to paper, we can write it on a piece of paper, and I'll hold the paper. You think they'd be more comfortable with that?
That's two 1920s.
Oh, okay. I just thought they didn't like the phone. It was something against the phone, right? All right, so our camera's a little weird today. It's like really dark in the back. I don't know, experiment with something on the camera. So
be on my phone all again.
Yeah, so if you have a question, you haven't gone to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, do that. Get us some good questions. We have a lot coming in. Get on Snapchat, talk to us, check out our stories. Story's been pretty cool. And let's get started today. What's our question for today? Joe asks, Brent, what's your take on the ARP Wave claiming to eliminate the need for Tommy John surgery? Okay, this ARP Wave technology is a little kind of like sketchy. I don't know. It's like if you look into the actual technology, you find that there's only like one company, because they have the patent, who's selling the ARP Wave. It's basically a TENS unit or a STEM unit using a frequency that has studies that show really works well with healing and even strengthening. So it's forcing the muscles to activate. But it's weird when you got one company selling it and they're really raking up the prices, like 30 grand for the unit, and then you got to pay monthly for it.
Wow.
You buy the unit and then you got to pay monthly for it. Or maybe it's like either you buy it all out or you pay I don't know.
And it's doing the same thing as like a stem.
Right, it's the same thing. It's just a different frequency, which is more in tune to the body. It really, studies show it's promoting healing. So I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I would say it probably does work, but and then the company that's using it for baseball says they claim if you come down, they'll put it on you and give you some exercises, and then you won't need to come back for a while. You're actually going to have to come back. And basically what they're saying is there's certain muscles that aren't activated, specifically during overuse, throwing the long head of the bicep, they say is basically becomes inactive, and then it's not supporting the elbow as well, and then that makes us more prone to UCL damage. Also, it says from the overuse, the muscles tighten up and they knot up to protect themselves, and you're just keep throwing and banging in the joint, and that's what causes the UCL to eventually tear. So this ARP Wave helps the central nervous system release the bicep and let it kind of go back to function, which of course these devices show to be a little bit more effective than massage, but we can do that in other ways. We can do that in massage, we can do that with keeping good integrity in the joint, not overusing the joint. So I think they're making it sound like a little too good to be true. And I think it's because it's a good money thing for them right now, and they've got a patent, so no one has it, so they want to make it like a frenzy because everyone would have to come to them. So, I think it does obviously work because TENS units have been around forever in rehabilitation, and this is kind of sounds like a better TENS unit. I just don't think I would probably drive across the state for them to put it on me and give me a few exercises, because then you're just gonna have to come back. So I think, you just need to learn how to activate your muscles well. I'm getting more into that with body activation because certain muscles turn off and the other ones overcompensate, and that's where we get overuse problems, and that's where we can lead to damage. So you just need to learn how to get your body through a good warm-up, get it activated, good foam rolling, mobility work, some good basic drills, and that in itself will have a significant effect on you having Tommy John surgery and kind of replace your need for some type of rehabilitation hardware like this. But if it was here, I would be using it going, this thing's amazing. I know it would. It really sounds like a good piece of rehabilitation equipment, but unfortunately I think a lot of kids, it's kind of like when you hear about that that machine that or pill that you took, and you don't absorb or you don't gain weight. So if that pill comes out, everyone's just gonna basically gives them the excuse to just eat and do whatever the hell they want because they get the pill's gonna fix everything. And I think unfortunately that's what this machine sounds like it's trying to do. It's like, I think a lot of people will be like, well, just use the crap out of your arm. Start, cranking up weighted ball programs again. Because we got the ARP Wave, it's gonna fix everything. So I think that's the negative that'll come out of it. I definitely wouldn't consider it that. I would just say, hey, we're learning more about the arm as far as how to keep it healthy, how to keep the body healthy, how to keep the body activated and not overused and functional to keep the arm healthy. And I think that's really what you need to look more into, and not just the ARP Wave.
Yeah, to me it sounds like just one piece of the puzzle, like we always talk about, like where it might be a good rehabilitation for your arm and stuff like that. But from what we know from the kinetic chain, it's not like you're gonna go and just do this ARP Wave thing and it's gonna eliminate your Tommy John needs and eliminate everything and help you gain miles per hour and stuff like that. So to me, it's like the kinetic chain, the reason you're starting to hurt your arm is you've got somewhere you're breaking down along in the kinetic chain, and by just taking this ARP Wave and being like, yeah, we can do it just in the arm, and that's only where it's breaking down, to me that's wrong. Because from all the people that we see coming in, they'll have deficiencies in their lower half, they'll have mobility issues, strength and power issues, and to just say that, we're just gonna fix it in the arm is just one little small piece of the puzzle. I mean, you gotta look a lot more than just that.
Yeah, I think this is playing on ignorance, unfortunately. It's playing on those pitchers and athletes that don't understand how all this works. And they think, well, then I just need this one thing and that this is the key. It's never that. You need to really learn how this thing's working. You notice how they don't really tell you what it's doing? Because they know if they told you, you could find an alternative. And that's one thing that you don't like, I don't like. Next question. D. Pritch asks, I train through the 3X program and I'm putting on weight, but it's mostly really fatty weight. I'm stronger and bigger than I've ever been, but do you guys have any suggestions on foods to eat that will help me continue to put weight on, but in a more lean way? All right, I'll let Steven, since he's almost done with his John Berardi certification.
When I saw Dean Pritch though, before I saw that, or D. Pritch, I immediately thought of old school, Dean Pritcher, remember? Okay, I just thought that out.
All right, so Steven's gonna throw some advice at you. I'll throw some in later.
So pretty much when you're gaining weight, you're doing these exercises, right? So you have your resting metabolic rate. So you have, like, your body is just trying to stay alive and doing its metabolic function, and that requires calories for energy. So typically anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 calories is what's gonna keep someone, just keeping them alive, like breathing, functioning, digesting food, everything. So then on top of that, you're training, which is gonna be burning even more calories. So what it sounds like to me is if you're putting on mostly fatty weight, you're going to a surplus of calories and probably in your macros, getting too much carbs. And that's leading you to gain too much weight instead of building lean weight. So you're just going to need to switch up your macros from eating so much carbs all the time to start kind of timing it around your workout to where right before your workout you have a protein carb meal, and then after your workout you have a protein carb meal, and then the rest of the days you're focusing more on protein fat meals so your body isn't storing so much carbohydrate. But yeah, it's a long answer, but that's just in the short term. What would help you a lot is start trying to learn a little bit more about the timing of it around your exercises so your body is refueling, building up the muscle, but not storing so much carbohydrate that you're storing as fat.
Yeah, I think he's right. You could start trying to bring down your carbs, and I mean even bringing down if you're even eating high fats too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then keep more proteins, because proteins can be converted to glycogen, and it typically converts what it needs. Even though it's not good to convert proteins to glycogen because you probably need that to rebuild. But if you're getting too much carbs or too much fat and you're storing too much storage of energy, then you probably just need to maybe give it more just protein for now and see if that has an effect, like bringing down your surplus of carbs and fats and see if that has the effects. And if it has effects, then you can find a better balance of what your body actually needs. It's kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you want more info on it, man, go ahead and just reach out to me on Twitter or something. We can get on a phone call and we can talk more about it and just look into your diet, what you're eating, and I'll make some suggestions for you.
All right, cool, man. If anybody has any other suggestions for diet, post that on here for Steven, post it on Snapchat, and push him to get into that. He's working on a program for you guys of coming out of the 3X programs. you don't have the 3X programs, come down to 3X camps, come get on the programs online. Obviously, we'd love to have you for the camps, stay here for some training, and keep asking your questions. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, hashtag baseball tips, hashtag pitch tips, and we'll see you on the next episode.